Hey everybody, welcome back to the Street Fighter League recap. I'm James Chen.
Hey, I'm UltraDavid. It's week number 9. Are you ready to chat about it?
Let's do this. So we start off this week with Team Inferno, which is Punk, versus Team Spirit, which is Justin Wong. Wow. Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's right. Broly Legs and JB are on Inferno as well, and Brian F and Psycho are on Spirit.
Dang, all right. And the bans, but not actually against Justin,
Right.
Obviously. That makes total sense. And as opposed to your view, in fact, it was banning Rashid specifically against JB.
Right, but I mean, we've talked about that before. We feel like that's how you take him out of the equation.
Yes.
If they didn't ban him, then it wouldn't be just Punk versus Justin, now would it?
Right, this is basically Spirit trying to give themselves 3 chances to beat Punk, right? That's the idea behind it. In the order, Inferno went with Broly Legs, JB, Punk. I figure Punk probably expected that Rashid would get banned, and then it would be down to Punk having to anchor the team, basically.
Yeah,
Makes sense to me. And then in order for Spirit, it was Brian F, Psycho, and Justin, and I feel Justin's trying to match himself up against Punk.
Yeah, I mean, look, last time they played each other, Punk versus Justin was such a phenomenal match.
Amazing.
One of the best matches of the league, and it came down to the very, very end, and really is the match of this matchup, right? And, you know, we talked about it last time they played each other. I really feel like Justin is the only one who can play Punk that way. He's the only one that's so patient and hits so few buttons. We saw how many rounds went down to the timer, you know, coming down to the very end.
Well, let's talk about whether they played again this time. Broly versus Brian. I felt that was a pretty strong win by Brian F. Then you had JB versus Psycho's Nikali. And look, banning Rashid against JB basically means you've beaten him.
Right.
And Psycho played well. Obviously, it was not just the character thing, but Psycho played well too, and he took it. So then it was indeed Punk Karen versus Justin Karen.
Yes. And honestly, you know, again, super, super close match. But, you know,
It was awesome.
Punk again managed to be victorious. And honestly, for Team Spirit, I felt like as soon as Punk won, their spirit was lost.
You might be right about that, yeah. It was so close, especially at the start when Justin actually did have match point. He had set point.
He game 1 and then he was 1 round in right away. Yeah.
Yes. And then Punk made the complete comeback on that. Then Punk beat Brian F. Then Punk beat Psycho, which means he also made the complete comeback in the team battle as well.
But you know, look, Punks has been trash talking a lot, right? So he's been kind of just toying with people. But shockingly in his interview, and I feel like this is just kind of showing how much respect he has for Justin and how hard he knows it is to fight him. He was really humble.
He was super humble. I don't know who that guy is really got on the mic that time, but not anybody I've seen for the last 2 years, 2.5 years.
Exactly.
Now, Broly Legs also downplayed himself. I just want to point that out. I feel Broly has had close matches almost every single week.
Yeah.
He consistently gets down to the third game. He's always threatened to win. It hasn't happened, but you know, he's always been very close.
Yeah, so even though he said he hasn't been playing well, he's been playing really well. Yeah, it's an unfortunate way that all the cookies have crumbled,
Hasn't happened
basically.
for him.
Yeah.
And then Spirit, look, it's just like last time. These teams played before, the same thing happened. They did exactly what they wanted to do, right? They beat 2 players, they banned against JB, they gave themselves 3 chances to beat Punk. Again, it didn't work out.
I mean, hopefully, maybe someone can get us a stat on this, but I feel like they've had the most 2-3 losses out of every
There's
team.
absolutely no doubt. I feel like if you tally the number of games that they've played, because they've gone to 5 games
Right,
so many times, I feel like
uh-huh.
they've definitely played more games than anybody else. It's always been close, and it just hasn't worked out enough.
And they're 2-6
It's
now.
crazy.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. This team should not be 2-6. That's just how it's happened.
Yeah.
The second battle of the day was between Gail, which is NuckleDo and Rob TV, and Psycho, which is Toy, Chakotay, Justikid, and Shine?
What was happening?
I'm not really sure. It's not clear exactly to me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, Gail banned Bison from Toy, obviously. and Psycho apparently banned Shine from the team or something. Or they recruited him, they stole him, they like, I don't know what happened, mid-season trade or something.
I don't know, man. There better be a purple jersey on the screen right now while we're talking about this. In the order, it was Gail with Shine, NuckleDo, and Rob TV, who's usually gone on it.
Yeah, and you know what? Rob TV has been playing fantastic. He's been playing so well all season long. So putting him at the end, I like that because I feel like NuckleDo kind of puts more pressure on the opponent going in the middle. You know?
I think it makes sense to me too. Then for Psycho, it was Just a Kid, Tay, and Toy. I feel like they probably expected Shine to go first because that is usually what happened. And so they wanted to give Just a Kid a chance to mirror match him, which did in fact happen.
Yeah, so just to show who knows Jury better.
Look, I've always said the best way to know who knows a character better is who wins the mirror match. So in the matches themselves, you had Shine Jury versus Just a Kid Jury, and it was very close. It was very close, but Just a Kid took it, including a teabag.
Just to kind of maybe show him who's boss.
Exactly right. Then NuckleDo Cammy versus Chakotay Mika came up.
Yeah, I mean, look, we talked about how close that first one was.
Yeah.
It wasn't close at all afterwards because Do blew up Tay pretty badly, you know. So, and then Rob TV, I mean, took it to Toy pretty badly as well.
He did. That was Toy Birdie, of course, and it did not go well. And then NuckleDo closed it out against Just a Kid. So, all those
blowing
matches,
him out again.
I felt like those were all pretty lopsided, to be honest.
And you know, for Psycho, you know, they only have one win in the first week when Just a Kid had that reverse OCV. And honestly, you know, we've been kind of hard on them, and you know, I feel like that there's kind of a reason for that. You know, I just feel like, you know, the ban on Toy has just been hurting them so much. It's too powerful, and everybody else, as well as they've been playing, have not been able to, you know, step up like a Samurai has, or you know, even a lot of the other teams. Whenever the top player gets banned, the other guys kind of make up for it, and I just don't feel like that's been happening.
It hasn't happened. Yeah, it's rarely been close, even for them. Gail, I thought they all played great. They all played great. Even Shine in the loss, I thought he played well. It went right down to the very end. So for them, it was a great week.
Yeah, I honestly, between Gail and probably Frost, you know, which we'll get to in the next match, I feel like they've had the most solid, like, overall team.
Very well-constructed team, for sure. So Gail takes it, and they're looking good so far.
And finally, in Battle 3, we have Storm, Classico, Idom, and Samurai versus Team Frost, Dual Kevin, Nephew, Up to Snuff.
In the bans, Storm actually banned Akuma again, and I was certain after last week when Laura came out to play and Idom looked so strong that nobody would let her play again.
Right, but again, this is proof of how strong and how crucial Samurai has been.
Bingo! Then Frost banned Rashid from Dual Kevin, which basically they felt made it just so that they were playing against Nephew and Up to Snuff. I like that too.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Nephew has obviously shown he can play multiple characters.
Same with Up to Snuff. His Akumas look good in the past.
That's true.
Yeah.
In the order, Storm went with Classico, Samurai, and Idom. I mean, they didn't put. Did they know that wasn't going to get banned? Or?
See, I'm not sure if they knew, but they may have been at least hoping for that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they didn't put Idom on the front this time.
I agree, or Samurai and Anchor. And then Dual Kevin, Up to Snuff Nephew for Frost. And I feel like they probably were confident, kind of regardless of what would happen with having Up to Snuff and Nephew second and third.
Like I said, I feel like Frost has been so solid that they've can kind of go in any order at this point. So I think it's just kind of at this time, what do we feel like?
Right, no, yeah. Okay, so in the matches, Classico Urian versus Dual Kevin G. Strong win by Classico.
Yeah, so look, Classico, I mean, it's been this kind of a season for him. Even Vicious was like, I think that's his first win. He actually beat two people before, Toys Birdie, and then Broly Legs, right? But I mean, that's the kind of season it's been. He has had so many crucial drops from just nerves. We've talked about that a lot, but this was a good win for him.
This was great. Then Up to Snuff, Nikali beat Samurai Sagat. It was close.
Yeah. Up to Snuff chipped him out, or just basically did the super because he knew it was going to be a chip. But Up to Snuff has been looking fantastic, and he's the first person in 5-6 weeks that gave Samurai a loss. I mean, come on.
Very true. Then you had Idom Laura versus Nephew Colleen. It was close again, but still, I can't believe they let Laura play.
It's just that every time, I mean, like, Laura is, I mean, as much as we talk about G having the ability to run you over, Laura is kind of like the pre-G, right?
Steamroller,
So many rounds it was like, oh, and then all of a sudden IDOM just slaughtered them.
So yeah, then it was Classico Urian versus Up to Snuff Nikali. It was basically on Up to Snuff to reverse OCV, and Classico, I think he did do pretty well, but it didn't work out for him. Up to Snuff took it, and then finally it was Laura from IDOM versus Nikali, played by Up to Snuff, and again, close, but again also, Laura does the trick.
Yeah.
IDOM takes it.
Up to Snuff, I mean, he was proving himself really strong
Very
right there.
strong
But then there's no way IDOM's playing Laura after this week.
I really think that's true. Yeah. So Storm ends up taking it. Storm, I love the interaction between Classico and Samurai.
Yeah.
I love that.
The commentators were talking about how now, we talked about how nervous Classico's been, but apparently now he's taking a lot of the breathing exercises from Samurai.
So cool.
Dude, Samurai the whole time's like, you got this, let's go. He was super encouraging. Even after he lost, he was like, it's okay.
Yeah, well, he did what he needed to do, right? Took at least one person out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I thought that was incredible. And even though Samurai lost this week, I almost feel like him helping out Classico is another argument for why Samurai is actually the MVP.
Okay, yeah, for sure. And Frost, again, you know, I feel like we talked about how good this team is overall, like a very solid, strong team. And the cool thing about it is they interviewed Up to Snuff earlier in the day, and he was talking about how Nephew is just like, okay, let's, you know, he huddles everyone, let's talk about the decisions together. You can really see that they have this very strong trust of each other, and they rely on each other, and it's not like one person's carrying the load. Up to Snuff almost made the comeback here this week. So
I think that's so cool to see. That's a great thing for them. Now, it didn't work out today, but still moving forward, very useful.
Yeah, and now we kind of see why Punk has been telling everyone to ban Nikali, right? So there you go.
The Week 9 standings show that #1 overall remains Team Storm.
Yeah, this has been interesting because for a while it just felt like Inferno was going to run away with everything, but all the OCVs by Samurai and then actually beating Team Inferno, now they're Inferno. Oh, okay, 2 more weeks. It's coming down to the wire.
Yeah. So, of course, Inferno in second place. And then Gail, I continue to like what they're doing out there.
And, you know, I really like this interplay with Gail and Frost right now. I'm fighting for 3rd place. They're just kind of neck and neck, and both of these teams we mentioned have been, I feel like, the overall most solid teams, and their placing shows that.
They don't rely on one person, right? Yeah, I agree with that. And then you have, in 5th place, Spirit is somehow down there. You look at that player list right there, and you're like, how could that be?
Dude,
but it's been like that.
Yeah.
Somehow it's working out.
Yeah, and then of course up at the tail end is Team Psycho. You know, we've been critical of them. I feel like that they just haven't been able to get anything going. But, you know, got 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks at least. They can get another couple of wins at least.
And put Spirit at the bottom or something, and then we can be the most baffled ever.
Maybe they can gatekeep. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. Of course, we're still playing out a couple more weeks of the Street Fighter League.
Yeah, every Thursday. Make sure you check that on youtube.com and twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters.
That is correct. For now, everybody, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.